Sergio Perez had an amazing drive at the Singapore Grand Prix, which resulted in him clinching the victory from Charles Leclerc, even after receiving a reprimand and a 5-second time penalty. Nevertheless, that win, he has not been able to match the performance of his teammate, Max Verstappen. This raises the question asking, if Red Bull is developing a car only for Max, does a team really favor one driver over the other at Red Bull? When the season started, Checo was on the front foot more than often, and at times, he was faster than Max, which was depicted by his result at Monaco. But at recent races, Perez has been struggling to get grips with the RB18, whereas Max is thriving. How has this happened? Well, rumors are swirling around F1, suggesting that Red Bull is developing its F1 car around the preference of Max Verstappen rather than Checo Perez. Is this really the case? We are not sure. So to investigate the validity of those rumors, we did some digging, and the results will be satisfying to all Red Bull and Formula One fans, so stick till the end of this episode to find out. Firstly, it's worth mentioning that the F1 rules does not stop teams from developing cars towards the preference of one of its drivers, so teams are allowed to do it. But, in reality, it is not the best of decisions a team would make if their goals are to win multiple championships consecutively. To answer all these questions, we should first understand both the Dutch and Mexican drivers' driving style. Max is one of those elite class driver who prefers to drive an unpredictable car. Max prefers a car with more front-end grip. What I mean by the phrase front-end grip is that the car has more grip at the car's front than of the rear. This can be done by a number of mechanical and aerodynamic ways, which we will talk about later in this video. Front-end grip results in the front of the car being very responsive, creating an oversteer balance, allowing Max to rotate the car early on a corner. This creates an unpredictable rear, which the Dutch driver is able to excel very well. Checo is the direct opposite of Max. He prefers a car with more rear-end grip than front-end. Perez prefers a car with more rear grip, combined with downforce, which makes the center of gravity and pressure much more evenly distributed among the car under braking, and through a corner, the downforce of the car pushes the rear of the car, which gives Checo the confidence to attack the corner. Now to understand on where the car is now, we must examine on where the car was at the season start. The RB18 was a car which was over the minimum weight limit of this year by approximately 10 kilograms, compounded with the fact that the Red Bull car had more grip at the rear, causing more understeer. The overweight meant that the drivers were losing about 3/10 of lap time, and the balance of the car also favored the driving style of Sergio Perez. Perez was able to adapt to the understeer balance of the original RB18. After this examination, it is obvious that there were many weaknesses which Red Bull had to work and address over the course of this season. Did Red Bull bring up upgrades to solve the RB18's issues, and how did they do it? Let's examine the car and its shape to explain you guys how the RB18 has progressed over the season. Red Bull has changed its car design over time, which would suggest that they are trying to put more pressure on the rear of the car, which means they can run smaller wings on the rear to result in less drag. But that would suggest that the car does not have the front-end grip which Max prefers. Yet somehow, the RB18 is getting both the mechanical and aero grip at the front of the car. It is hard to see how Red Bull has achieved this feat. They have excessively worked on the car's design and are somehow able to generate much more downforce from the underfloor of the car, which allows the team to play with its wing levels. Not only this, Red Bull has gone through a very big program to reduce the weight of the RB18. We have talked a lot about this in our channel, on how Red Bull has homologated a new lightweight chassis which they have not yet introduced, but has been able to bring in regular lightweight parts to reduce the weight of the car to a slight level. This weight reduction has allowed Max to play with the car at a much more flexible level. Max therefore is able to get the car to a better window which suits his driving style, leading to faster lap times. Unfortunately for Checo Perez, this development path Red Bull has chosen has not favored his driving style, which explains his decline in performance over the races we have witnessed. Despite clinching many race wins this season, Verstappen insisted, "I think we are still a little bit, I would say not amazing in qualifying. But that hasn't only to do with just the car, we are still a bit heavy. So, of course, when all the fuel comes out, that is just a limitation we have, so we still need to lose weight with the car, which we're working on. But that's why, I guess in the race, it's a little bit less of an issue, because first of all, you cannot push like in qualifying, so probably that helps a bit with the way we have the car, and, yeah, that weight issue with a full tank is a little bit less visible. Verstappen says the weight savings Red Bull has made with the RB18 has allowed him to get the car handling more to his liking. It was mainly just because of the weight. The car was very heavily overweight initially. That doesn't help the balance of the car because it becomes all a bit lazy and also in the wrong place of the car. So the car was overweight and that's why it made it understeer quite a bit. Was this development on purpose by Red Bull to favor Max over Sergio? There is this myth that is surrounding around the Formula 1 paddock that Max is the #1 driver, so the team has developed the car around his preference. Simply, that isn't the case. Teams develop their car based on their simulation and wind tunnel data. The team also takes various driving styles into account, the car's setup and balance, which gives the ideal and fastest lap time around all tracks in the F1 calendar. To satisfy the driver, what the team does is adjust the balance of the car and other suspension-related settings, such as the camera angle, to provide them a car with the setup they prefer to drive around the specific track. Therefore, I strongly disagree with the spreading rumor of Red Bull favoring a driver over the other in terms of car development. The team is not developing a car around Max to make him faster. They are developing the car, which has enabled Max to find his rhythm and get faster gradually over every race. One more fact I would like to include is the driver's feedback the teams receive. The teams mostly rely on this factor for car development. So, I believe that Max is better at providing better feedback about the car than Checo is able to. Also, Max commented on this rumor. That's certainly what I've been doing. I mean, of course, I say what I would like for my car in general, but the upgrades on the car are not specifically designed around me. It's just more pace. After the examination in this video, it is very much safe to say that Red Bull is not guilty of any rumors that has been spreading between the Formula 1 fans. Red Bull has not been developing the RB18 around Max Verstappen, it's only the facts that the car's development has favored Max over Checo this season. And, I would like to know your views on this situation. What do you think of my verdict? Let me know your ideas in the comments section below. Want to know if the upgrades McLaren brought to its MCL36 to the Singapore Grand Prix is working well for them? Watch this video shown on your screen now. Thank you for watching this video, please subscribe, and I will catch you on the next episode.